I got all I want, and I got all I need, and I got everything. I got you and me. All I want, I got all I need.
Marriage is the best. Hi, welcome back to Marriage is the Best. It's the best in marriage, is it? Woohoo! I have a very special guest today. She's great, and she's cute, and she's awesome, and she's here.
And she's your wife.
And she's also my wife, which is nice. It's nice to have a great, cute, awesome wife. So welcome back. Welcome back on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like your show. Literally, your name is on it. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about year 3 of our marriage. So year 1 released quite a while ago. You'll have to scroll back to early episodes to listen to year 1 if you haven't listened to that yet. We did year 2 already. So if you want to catch up before you listen to year 3, feel free to go back and listen to those 2 episodes. Year 1 is episode number 4. And year 2 is episode number 12. So have fun with those. And we're going to jump into talking about year 3 of our marriage. So where we left off last time, we had just gotten back from our honeymoon, or not honeymoon trip, but we had just gotten back from our anniversary trip from California. And that's kind of how we kind of finished out year 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, that's the research. That's the research that I did.
I don't remember talking about it on the podcast. It was a while ago. But on that trip to California, we were unknowingly pregnant with baby number 3.
We were unknowingly pregnant with baby number 3.
Yes.
So, yeah. So we're still in this tiny little apartment, and we've got these 2 babies. 2 babies in a tiny little apartment.
We've got no money. We're both babies ourselves.
Yeah, very immature. Very immature. What are we, like 23 at this point?
Yeah.
2015, we turned 22. 2016, we turned 23. So we're 23. Yeah. Yeah. So we're really young. We're 23-year-olds taking care of 2 children. So if you know any 23-year-olds who don't, just the next time you have a conversation with a 23-year-old, just think, Peter and Becca had 2 children at this point. And we weren't just any 23-year-olds either. We were like codependently crazy 23-year-olds.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. But as we prepared a little bit a second ago for making this episode and went through and watched videos of that time in our life, we just saw 2 little baby girls giggling and laughing and totally, completely, utterly full of joy. And so, yeah, it was a crazy time of life, but we had 2 really sweet little beautiful baby girls, and there isn't any other way that I would go back and rewrite that story.
Yeah, it was really interesting to look back on those videos, to watch them interact, to watch the freedom and the fun and the joy in the moments that were captured on those videos. And then to think about how we really struggled to see those moments as, wonderful, joyful, free, connected moments. I remember feeling really overwhelmed pretty much all the time.
Yeah, we were pretty stressed and pretty tired and pretty new at everything.
Yeah. The parenting was stressful. The marriage was stressful. You were pregnant again, and so hormonally and physiologically, you were going through all sorts of changes and, difficult things just in your own body.
Took a long time in our marriage for us to be married without me being pregnant or postpartum hormonal. So I was not quite myself for the first several years of marriage.
Yeah.
I was in postpartum when I got pregnant with everybody.
Even between number 3 and number 4.
Yes. And then even after number 4, that's when all the miscarriages started.
Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise.
So as I say, the first several years.
That is so intense.
Mm-hmm.
That wow. Oh my word. That's kind of exhausting to think about. All those years in your poor system, just bombarded with
crazy hormones
constantly.
I am a warrior.
You are a warrior. You processed through that like a champ. And I think it was difficult because we knew each other for a few years before we got married. And then we basically just knew each other during heightened stress of lots and lots of babies over and over and over again. And you're right. I don't think that you were quite yourself throughout those years.
No. Yeah, I definitely struggled with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, and there was actually stress in our life other than just having lots of babies and whatnot, but we also had the stress of having no money, which we didn't really recognize exactly how stressful that was until we kind of came out of that season. And then looking back, we realized how much added stress that caused. And then there were other family dynamics from extended family and all kinds of circumstances outside of our little family that were also pretty stressful.
Right. Yeah, we had family members who were struggling and going through hard times and were kind of chaotic in their own lives. We were chaotic in our lives and trying to figure out, how to relate to one another, how to leave our families, how to really lean into each other. But the system that we had, the foundation that we had to kind of lean in on each other wasn't good. It wasn't healthy yet. It wasn't strong. I mean, we definitely had some good parts with the value system and other things, but it was just really, really hard. And you're right. I remember the finances. I remember it because of how intense it was when we left. When, eventually when we left this apartment, there was such a weight released that we didn't even know we were carrying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the physical stress of just being in this tiny space.
Yeah, and then not having multiple cars. A lot of times we just got stuck with one car, so I was stuck at home a lot. And then, I had to establish a new community in that place, a new community of moms and friends and mentors and any kind of community at all. So that took a little while to establish a community there.
Yeah, because of the nature of just getting launched so quick.
And then moving to where we were at was not close to any friendships that or family that I already had established relationships with.
Right. So you weren't leaning on old relationships that were, already established as supportive. You had to kind of start over in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually remember in this specific year that it seemed like you had some stress in the old relationships, which was really, I remember that being difficult for you in that season too.
It was. This is also the year that I started BSF, actually. Your grandma brought me to BSF, and that was a lifesaver for me, a lifeline. Starting in the fall in September for that year. It was hard to do it with 3 babies, but Yeah, it was so worth it. And that's where I really started to establish community.
Yeah, a lot of people from that group kind of stepped in to love on you and love on the girls and fell in love with the girls and, was just really practically supportive and loving toward you.
Yeah.
Which we really, really desperately needed.
Especially when I got called to jury duty that year.
Yes, that was interesting. So yeah, you had a gal from BSF come and watch the girls while I was at work?
I had 4 people come to the house from BSF. So there was 1 person per baby and an extra person who did the dishes and laundry.
Was that after number 3 was born?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We did actually buy a second car. This is the year that we bought the second car. So
yeah, but even when we did have 2 vehicles, one of them was often breaking down or it wouldn't start or the battery or whatever it was. We often ended up with only having 1 working vehicle.
That is true. We bought one vehicle, or we bought another vehicle. Our first minivan was bought actually this year, and we've never ever looked back on the 2006 Honda Odyssey. We've owned 3 of them now because they're awesome. And but you're right, yeah, and that was an added stress. I think that you feeling stuck at home was a really difficult thing for you, being the extrovert that you are, needing the community and the support in the vulnerable place that you were in, and just all the stress that you were dealing with, not being able to leave the environment that was primarily stressful, this tiny little apartment with these 2 babies.
Yeah, not probably having the best system of getting consistent time away from me. So I remember during this season, lots of times when you would come home and I would literally need to leave out the door the moment that you walked in and be like, I can't be here anymore. I need to leave now. And so we didn't have a very consistent, very good routine of getting me out before I got to the breaking point where I'm like, I need to leave now. So yeah, we didn't quite have that figured out.
No.
At that point.
Yeah, and I don't think we really knew any different. We didn't know. I mean, I think that other people could probably see the stress and the struggle. My mom could probably see a lot of that, and she maybe understood it, but we, being so young, didn't see how necessary some of those things were, and how there was some things that were missing in our supports, missing in your system, that maybe would have helped you to kind of move through and feel a little healthier, feel a little less overwhelmed, less stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's nothing that's going to change, obviously, like being pregnant again and having 2 babies. So, but maybe other things, maybe more environmental things, etc.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it was overwhelming for you, and that was overwhelming for me. I would come home and try and cook and clean and connect as much as I could.
I think you were still in your master's program at that time.
Yeah, I was pretty fresh into that. So we would working during the day, come home, relieve you for the rest of the day, bedtime.
That didn't happen most days.
Yeah, I mean, most days you got a break from the time I got home to the time bedtime happened.
We wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation if that were true.
I don't even know what you're implying.
Oh, my sanity probably would have been much higher.
So wait, why wouldn't we be sitting here having this conversation?
Talking about how stressful that time of life was because I didn't
suppose.
get the consistent time away.
I think it would have just changed the conversation.
Yeah, so we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Okay, I get it. Okay, I'm following along now.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing me along. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it was full-time work, come home, try and manage the evening together, meals and messy kitchens.
I did a lot of cooking before number 3 was born.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
actually saw a post on the FB about, I wrote like, my wife made me the best pork chop I've ever had.
Yes, a lot of times I had dinner ready when you got home.
Mm-hmm. That's really sweet.
That was a long time ago.
I don't know. I was just daydreaming a little bit about pork chops when I arrive home.
You don't even like pork chops anymore.
I mean, it's been a little while. I could eat yours. If you cooked me a pork chop, I would 100% eat it.
I know you would eat it, but it might not sit well in your tummy.
That's true. That's happened. Yeah, it was messy. We definitely had a hard time keeping the tiny apartment clean. I don't really know exactly why.
Oh.
Is them fighting words?
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Yes.
All right.
We had 3 in diapers, okay, and 3 that needed to be fed, basically spoon fed or,
Oh yeah.
in a high chair. So
It was mostly the kitchen, right? Like, I mean, the other spaces did we do a better job of?
no.
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 Was it the whole thing?
No. Picture having 3 of, right? He opens
Oh,
every
wow.
cabinet. He takes everything out. He moves to the next one, takes everything out of that. And he goes to the plant and dumps it out. Like they are walking tornadoes.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they poop and it gets out of their diaper and all of their clothes are dirty. And
Right. And it's not like you can attend to one at a time. Like with number 5, he's a walking tornado right now. But if he takes 10 things out of a cupboard, I literally just go put those 10 things back and then go back to what I was doing.
and then he takes them out again. And
Right. It's a little game we
sometimes
play.
you just let it go and just let him take out all of the things. And at the end of the day, you'll say, oh, I'll put them away later.
Mhm.
And then sometimes it doesn't get done because there are 4 other kids and you do dinner and then you clean up from that and there's no time to put away the other things. And yeah, and I remember them pooping in the tub quite regularly.
Yeah.
Like I would give them baths most days, and most days someone would poop in the tub. And so I'd have to take them out and clean them off. And yeah, no, that season was a mess because there were so many needs to take care of. It was not possible to clean up after every mess.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to remember all of it, honestly. Just like what it was like and why it was the way that it was.
I started a blog around that time.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go back and read some of my posts. That would jog your memory.
I bet it would.
I also started Mom's Night Out that year at our church. So that was a pretty cool event. That one was like, I think probably the biggest,
What's Mom's Night Out?
most attended event. But yeah, I just planned a night at the church for moms to come. And oh my goodness, I could like go shopping because that was back when MLMs were all the rage. So I had like Jamboree nails. They could get their nails done. I had a massage therapist to get massages. They could go shopping with LuLaRoe, I think it was back then.
Oh my
so yeah, they could go
goodness.
shopping. There was crafting and scrapbooking, and then I had a speaker as well who came and did a nice job doing a little talk for us. Yeah.
It was a really quite a big success that first year.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good time.
I think it blessed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I think that was the first time that you were able to kind of express those organizational, people planning kind of skills. Not the first time, but like it was a resurgence of the old Becca.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're so gifted in that, and that's something that you did all the time as an RA. but then, you know, in the chaos, you took those couple of years that was just stress and chaos, and that you didn't have an opportunity, and then you created this opportunity for yourself, which was really cool.
Yeah. That must have been also around the time. Well, no, I started #MomLife before that. A while before that.
What's #MomLife?
That was a group on Facebook of moms, and it's it's been a community for all of my years of motherhood. I think I started it when I just had number 1. I think it was before we had number 2.
I remember taking credit for the name.
You came up with the name. You said what I should call it, but
Yep.
I definitely had the idea of wanting to create a group of on Facebook where I was just going to have it be my closest mom friends. And then I decided, I guess I'll just add all of the friends on Facebook who are moms that are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started adding their friends, and they started adding their friends. And over the years, it's grown. And,
It's a cool little community.
Yeah, not so little.
Yeah. People ask questions. People get,
Share
insight.
advice.
Yeah, share advice, resources. It's pretty cool. It's a good little support system, an online, place for people to come and get their questions answered and ask, is this normal? My child is eating newspaper again.
Get that checked out,
Yeah.
Sue.
Yeah, Sue.
Yeah, there's 530 members right now.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my word. That's nuts. Cool. Good for you. Look at you.
Stop.
No, I want to keep going. Your dad, one major support that we had during this year was your dad.
Yeah.
He was really involved.
Yeah, he came over a lot, read books with the kids, went on walks with me and the kids.
Yeah, he was around. He just was present, and that was a great support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody loves Grandpa Steve. Also, your grandma. I remember her dropping surprise groceries off on our doorstep. And, and she brought me to BSF and got me involved in that. And was this the year when we had to move out because of...
No, that's the following.
Oh, it is. Okay.
I think it was the end of the following year, because this is 2017.
Yeah, I know I had the 3 when we did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it might have been into the following year of marriage, because it was right at the beginning. It was in March that we had to... Anyways, we can get to that. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's like a teaser for like the next year, or maybe the following.
Keep listening.
Yeah, keep listening. Yeah. I think in the marriage there was a lot of anxiety and stress still about a lack of trust. There was a lot of dynamics of just anxiety surrounding, are you committed to me? Do you love me? Do you have eyes for me? And that was hard and really stressful in, just the marriage dynamic.
Yeah, that might have been the year when I posed the question again, if you thought well, that was the most beautiful. And you said no.
Yeah, it was a good year of marriage.
Highlight. Yeah, that might have been the year, or maybe the year prior, I don't remember. We spent a weekend at your grandma and grandpa's, actually, in their lower level.
Oh yeah.
And like Sarah stayed at our apartment with the babies or something, or maybe your mom came and stayed with them.
We did. We carved out some time to spend a night away, and we dated quite a lot throughout the year. We were able to get out probably just still Thursday, right? It's like that was Thursday nights, every Thursday night.
Your sister was around quite a bit.
Oh.
She helped us. She helped us with number 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When we were really struggling with number 3 crying a lot. Do you remember? She came over one night and stayed late into the night to just help hold number 3 while she cried.
I do not remember that.
Luba also helped a lot.
Oh,
She would
yeah.
come over and just take number 3 and drive around with her so that I could be at home without having a crying baby.
Yeah, so we should probably address that. So in this year, we had our 3rd child. She was amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And she was probably the most stressful thing that happened in our first 5 years of marriage.
She just struggled so much with so many little health issues. And to this day, I don't know all that even was happening. But she threw up tons and tons, and she cried a lot, and she didn't nurse well, and so then my supply just went away, and so we had to do formula, and that didn't sit well, and she had to always be sleeping as upright as possible, and even, I mean, nothing touched how much she threw up all the time. And
I forgot about the spit up.
oh, really?
I forgot how chronic, how like overwhelmingly.
All day long she
Yeah,
would
it
be
was all day
throwing up,
long.
spitting up. Yeah.
Oh.
She was just always uncomfortable.
And like in her body, like her tummy was just,
Yeah.
do you remember it being rock hard?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
So we took her to
And-
GI.
Yeah, but I got her test. There was friends of mine looked at her and said that she had a tongue tie, so I brought her into an ENT for that, and then they said she did not have one. And actually, your grandma offered to pay for the revision surgery for us, and then we never got the revision surgery because the ENT said that she didn't have one, even though I'm pretty sure she does still. Took her to GI. They thought maybe celiac.
They tested her.
No, they didn't test her. They wanted to test her, but in order to test her, they had to do like a colonoscopy, and we said no because she was so little. And so then we just prayed that she would be healed by the time we had our next baby, and she was.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, tongue tie, spit up, GI stuff.
So
Gas drops we tried.
Yep. Yeah, we had to switch formula. That seemed to help a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you okay, so one thing I remember really strongly is walking at night.
Uh-huh.
All I would do is just walk back and forth in the hallway. It was
around the kitchen and
Yep.
into the living room and
Yep.
around and around and around and around, and she would just scream and cry, and then you'd pass her off, and then
you'd
I would
walk.
do it
Yeah.
around and around and around again. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in those moments that my brain went to probably the darkest places it's ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
Of like stress, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like
Exhausted.
yeah, like breaking point kind of thoughts, ideas, darkness. It was, and it was, so this lasted, I don't remember exactly how long it lasted, but it
Or like
lasted
a
a
year.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like how we described the entire time, but it was really bad
For the majority.
for the majority of it. And yeah, I don't honestly know how we moved through all of that, because we had the 2 and then a bomb, blew up in our already stressful, already overwhelming little system in this little apartment with 2 unhealthy adults trying to figure stuff out. And then number 3 just comes in, and but by no fault of her own, it just kind of, it was a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at the time, we were just so, we didn't have any money, so we didn't have all these resources to take her to this chiropractor and try this and try that. We just really were pretty much at a loss.
Yeah, I mean, we had nothing. We were in debt. We were still doing, even during that, after number 3 was born, I was still doing my master's.
Mm-hmm.
I still had 1 semester left of school work, I think.
Mm-hmm.
1 semester left. I think so. And then, so I was still doing my last semester of coursework. And I think I decided like to do like 4 classes instead of 3. That I don't know. It was anyways, I just trying to get everything done as quickly as we possibly could. It was a long, stressful, overwhelming, inconceivable.
Hardest year of my life.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. Hardest year of my life. And we did it.
You did it, and it's so far in the rearview mirror now that that's a relief.
It is a relief. I mean, we held on. We continued to date. We continued to attend our church. We continued to look outward for support through, anybody, anyone and everyone and anyone. I remember meeting with my mentor throughout that year, maybe reaching out to a friend here or there. My mom was involved.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been involved. And
my Bible study was a lifeline.
Yep, huge. And little things would encourage. I remember somebody from BSF giving us a gift card at one point to Cub, and it was like $100 gift card, and that was all we spent on groceries for the month or something crazy. I remember going to the Cub that was just down the way, just up Lexington, and I remember going there all the time and getting food, and there was little blessings.
I think I hosted play dates for Egan moms at our church in our little tiny apartment.
You know what I did? I think that this was the year that I was going to Old Chicago in Eden Prairie and getting together with, Philip and Ethan and connecting with the boys and just kind of filling back up.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that at the very end of my rope would just kind of lift me up so I could do another month or week or however long we would go in between.
Yeah. We would walk to the little garden.
Yeah.
U of M garden.
We did walk quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm. We went to Como Zoo a lot and the library over there.
Yeah, those were resources for sure. The conservatory, the zoo. Just getting out into the sun and walking. And so let me ask you this. Looking back on year 3, hardest year of our lives, what would have made a difference? If there's like a thing that you could look back and be like, I think I needed X, what would that have been?
I don't know. I'm thinking that one thing that made such a huge difference is when we moved to Rosemount Woods and we had our own bedroom and we had like a little more space and enough bedrooms for the kids and everyone to be comfortable. I think that was so huge for us. That was so huge. And having that yard.
You know what, one thing we didn't mention? We
What?
didn't mention that after number 3 was born, because of the screaming and because of the wakeful nights, we moved our bed. We sold our king bed, and then we got a free full mattress at some point.
That was from your sister.
Oh, really?
It was the one she used as a child.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Becca.
You're the bomb. Which sister are you even? I have 4
Becca's.
of them. There's so many sisters. Do you think I'm going to keep track of them?
It was Becca's.
Okay. Thank you, Becca. You're really nice. So because of the screaming, we sold the bed. We put one infant in one room, the 2-year-old, number 1. We put number 2 in the other bedroom. And then there was a mattress that we put on the floor.
In the living room?
In the middle of the living room. We just laid it down on the floor. No box spring, no nothing.
That's where we slept.
And we just slept there because we couldn't combine any of like the kids.
Because they would
because they
wake
would keep
each
each
other up.
other up all night long.
And we were already being up all night long, so
we just tried it. Like, we just tried to do the best we could in that moment. We didn't know, and we just didn't have the space, like you were saying. And so that was really demoralizing. I think I thought, like, we could just do it, like, be resilient, get through it. But I think it had a really detrimental effect on us and the whole system.
yeah. Yeah, it was tough.
And with no money, I mean, like, what are you going to do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to get more space? But eventually, in future years, we do get more space. And it does, like, the storm ends and some light shines through.
As they all do.
Yeah, as they all do. That was profound. Thank you.
For what?
For, going through the storm with me.
You bet.
That was a big deal. And I don't think just anybody would have moved through that storm and continued to date and continued to pursue and continued to fight for our marriage and for our family and to keep building it, even in the midst of the horrible stress and overwhelming nature of where we were at. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's brought us to where we are now, and I think we've both reflected on how we are so thankful that we did go through those years of poverty, of having nothing, the years of working super hard to get where we are now, the years of having stress, all of it that happened, everything that happened then, that makes us who we are now and helps us to appreciate what we have now, and helps us to have compassion and empathy on people who are in stressful situations, and all of it, really. I wouldn't rewrite the story at all.
Mm-hmm. So let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say there's somebody going through a really difficult, dark, stressful, overwhelming season of their lives or season of their marriage. What sort of advice would you give them?
I think that one of the biggest things that can help in those kind of seasons is reaching out to other people, opening up to other people, letting other people in, being vulnerable. That's probably one of the hardest things for some people to do in those situations, and it can be really hard to say, I need help. So that can be really hard, but I think probably is one of the biggest things that would impact that season for the better. 'Cause no man is an island. Everybody needs help and support, and you can't do it alone. And that is the only way to really lighten the load, is by sharing it with others. That's pretty much the only way. And so it doesn't take away the load, but it definitely can help lighten the load a little bit. And then the blessing of allowing other people come bless you, and how much that surprisingly blesses them, is like an extremely beautiful way of life that is very unique to only living in those kinds of situations. When you are well off or doing well or thriving and successful, you don't necessarily experience living life like that with other people. And it is a very beautiful thing to have this dependence on the Lord, and also the dependence on your community. And then, as the storms always do end, in due time, you will get to be that person for someone else or multiple other people. And you will see the beauty of being on the other side of it, And then you will also have such compassion and empathy for the people who you get to help and serve. So it really is a beautiful thing. And that's kind of part of a season of living and cycle of life and all those things. And so, yeah, for everything there is a season.
Yeah, we are grateful for it. It was a lot, but we were seen through it. Faith and mentors and friends and family, community, church and Bible study. And, you know, it took an immense measure of persistence, perseverance, commitment. We got through it. So that was year 3. Stay tuned for year 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Because eventually we will have been married for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be actually caught up. And then you wouldn't have to come on the podcast for a little while.
You say that, but...
Yeah, I'll keep asking. It's okay. But thank you so much for coming on. And, yeah, do you want to sign us off?
Peace out.
And I got everything. I got you and me. All I want, I got all I need.
I can get that in post.
I'm rusty.
It's been a little while.
Yes.